Happy Thanksgiving week. This is Devin. This is our Tuesday Homeschool Mom Talk. We are talking about high school. I was supposed to do this last week. I had not planned to really do much this week, but I got sick. I got the crud that my kids got. And so I basically had very little voice and couldn't tape and would not have done a very good job with talking about high school. So tonight we're going to talk about homeschooling high school. This is one that I do a lot, and I wanted to take some time to show you where to look and to find some things and answer your questions and anything else that we have. With high school, it can be scary. It's one of the scary points that scare moms when they hit that like eighth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. I get a frantic text. I'm like, oh my God, high school's coming. What do I do? Your first thing that you've got to do is to relax. It's really been okay. I have 5 kids. 2 have graduated now. I have 1 in high school. Olivia's in 8th grade. She'll start high school next year. And then I have the baby who has got years into high school. It's not that scary. It's probably some of my favorite years to be with my kids. Um, it has been just fabulous, but there are some things to pay attention to. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But first, I wanted to make announcements. We do have a Thanksgiving episode on Thursday night. So come, put it in your calendar. Come see us at 7. Won't be long. It's not a long episode. It's not going to be long. We're just going to talk about all the things we're thankful for. We're going to maybe, point you towards some stuff and let you know some more information about our specials going on this week. We do have some Black Friday specials. Mine starts tonight. You can get everything in my digital shop for 75% off. Susan has some absolutely fabulous ones, and I posted them below because we're talking about high school and some of her specials go along with high school. So I wanted to make sure you saw them too. So anyway, high school. Your first thing is to take a deep breath. It is actually going to be fabulous. You will have, I think the 2 times mamas get stressed is teaching phonics, making that initial jump into homeschooling, and, well, really 3 things. And then high school. High school is not scary. I've done it 3 times now. 2 have graduated. I've got 2 more that are right there. Gabriella is 10th. Excuse me for coughing. Like I said, I was sick last week. So what do you do first when you hit high school? Excuse me. This is what happens when I get live every time. So your first thing you're going to do is you're going to check. Let me pull that up. Check your state laws. If you post below what states you're in, I can kind of point you toward that. In Alabama, I'm very, very, very secure in talking law, but everybody doesn't live in Alabama in this group. And so if you want, I will show you where to find this information. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You're wrong place. Let's see there. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to figure out where I've put my stuff. Okay, so your first thing you're going to do is to go to, I like to send people to Homeschool Legal Defense. That is because it's someone besides me. It is a national organization. You can see their basic legal stuff for free. They will ask you for your email address, but that's no different than any blog out there. So it's like almost any place you go that they're giving you free information, they're going to want your email address. And that's just how it is. You don't usually find stuff so for free just out there. I choose to use there as a baseline because they are lawyers. It is their job they're actually a membership program that they will represent people in court. They watch lobbying and stuff like that. Hey, will you bring me a drink, some unsweet tea in a minute? So that's what happens when you have kids, come in on live. So, hey, bring me some tea. But anyway, let me show you this where you'll hit this legal. Let me see. It may not work very well here. Oh, here. Now, see, I'm missing it. I'm being crazy. So you go here to this state law. and then you're going to find your state. Now, I'm going to use Alabama as an example because that is where I live. If you're over in Mississippi, we have a lot of Mississippi mamas and a lot of Florida mamas. You would go there. So I click here. It pulls up my laws. It's going to tell you the basic year. Let me make sure y'all are seeing what I'm seeing there. Good. That's good to know. Sometimes, it doesn't always work and you don't always see it. So anyway, here are our basic stuff. You're going to find anything major with high school. You always go over this. This is where you're going to go first. Every state controls their laws. So in Alabama, we have 3 options to homeschool. This school is required between 6 and 17. Notification is required. Teacher qualifications, no, except for option 3, because we have 3. I actually do not know anyone who uses that option. State mandated subjects, no. Assessments, no. Immunizations, no, except with option 2. And that is either a shot record or a, what's it called? Exempt form. So
There you go.
thanks. That's one of my college students. She doesn't want to get on. I guess she doesn't want to get on site. So anyway, so in Alabama, we do not have any subject requirements, and we don't have any homeschool high school requirements. So there's no graduation requirements there. That is how it works in Alabama. So that is where you're going to find your laws. You're going to always find a mentor in your state or in your locally, someone who has already graduated kids, so that you have someone to ask questions. Like I said, I can help you. I usually have somebody connected to whatever state you're in that I can connect you with, or I can ask questions from if I'm confused. But in Alabama, there are no high school graduation requirements. That doesn't mean you don't have a plan. It is always best to have a plan, and we will. That's my number 2. But ask questions if you got them. So anyway, so what are your high school graduation requirements if your state doesn't have them? Like Alabama does not have exit exams or graduation requirements, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean you don't have a plan. You need a plan. Mamas always have to plan, and you have to take into consideration where they want to go. That's one of the reasons why this age group is so much fun, is because you get to explore and see where they want to go. Now, for me, other people may not use the same thing, but for me, I always used Alabama's high school graduation requirements for the public school. That was my guide. I didn't use it like as a binding rule. Let me see if I can pull that up. Give me a minute. I'm going to pull that up real quick. I know y'all don't see me on Google. You see my face, but I'll show you what it looks like. I don't know about other states. I don't pull them up as often. Let's see. Alabama public school, high school. You would think it would just pull it up because I do it so often. There it is. So let me pull this up and find what I'm looking for right here. Oh, wrong place. You would think I would learn by now and just save it on my computer, but it doesn't always happen that way. Let's see. Nope, that doesn't look good either. I have one certain one that I like because it's like one sheet of paper and I can pull it up. I'm having the worst time. You would know that the one time I don't have it pulled up in time that it looks. Let's see. That is the one I want. Let me pull this one up. Okay, I'm going to stop this. Let's see. Oh, being late's good. Just whenever. That's why it's in the group so y'all can watch again later. Let me share this screen so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, so here are the Alabama graduations. This is for the public school. Now remember, homeschoolers do not have a high school graduation requirement or exit exam, but that doesn't mean this isn't a bad plan. I do not use for me personally, I don't use the same curriculum. I just use it as a base because when my kids go into college, I feel like it's better for them to see the transcript looking similar to what they're used to. So then my kids are not flagged and they're not like deciding to look deeper into their homeschool career. So I name everything similar. Even if the curriculum's not the same, it's similar curriculum. I'm a little bit more lenient now than I was when I started. I was scared to death when I started with Cole. I hit what I call the four core: English, math, science, history. That's 4 years of each one. Then their electives I tailor to what they're interested in. Juliana was very music heavy because she is a classical guitarist and a pianist, and she had lots of that. My other girls, I'm tailoring to what they're interested in with their electives. But this is what Alabama's looks like. I can post these below. Let's see, stop that sharing for a minute. I'm going to go back. I'm going to share with this other one. If you do not live in Alabama and you're looking for somewhere else, I have this other place, and I can post these in the comments so that you can find them. This is, let's see, this is the right one. This has a list of what each state requires. And again, if your state does not require this for your schooler, it's just a guide. You could use your favorite private school. You could use a private school you admire that is in London. You're the parent. You are the one who takes the time to make that plan. We're just talking about, you didn't miss anything major. We're just talking about high school. If you have a high schooler, you can run back. We do have some Black Friday specials. Susan has some. I posted her stuff in the comments. Mine is above in the post. So we got some of that coming on. And then Thursday, we're going to have just a Thanksgiving episode that I hope you'll enjoy it. But I hope y'all come and enjoy it anyway. So, okay. So that is, you'll look at, see what your state, excuse my coughing. I am better than last week, but it was almost 2 weeks of not feeling great. It was not COVID. It was just some kind of viral mess. So let's see. What is my next point? Okay. So you'll find out what your state requires. My state does not require, does not have high school graduation requirements or exit exams. That does not mean you don't have a plan. Mamas need to make a plan. This will probably be one of the things that, one of the e-courses I'll make in the year, walking y'all through making a plan, because sometimes that can be frightening. I used Alabama's public school graduation requirements. I hit the four core, and then we had at least 2 electives every year, different electives for different kids depending on what they were interested in. Cole had AVT tech. It's like audiovisual tech. He also had mock robotics. I have one that had piano and guitar. I have 2 other ones that are doing piano. I'm not sure what her interest will be in. Gabriella is very much into agriculture, so she may have some stuff like that pop up in the next year, just kind of depending and kind of following her bent, because I want her to explore what she's interested in so that she can move forward. Electives, I will, asking questions help me know what to do and what to say. So please ask questions. Yes, I have got that in Alabama. Now I've got, that's my number 4 point, testing. We, in Alabama, if you're in Alabama, we do not have any testing requirements. No exit test, nothing's required. But when you go to college, you usually have to have the SAT or the ACT. My kids take the ACT. That is one that is very easy for me to set up in my area. I can go on the ACT.org website, schedule it, send them to the local high school. That's just easy to do. You can do SAT. There are ways to do it. It's just not as easy because you have to have proctors. And that is not as easy to get set up, especially as a parent. So I try to look for where I'm not having to do more work. So I usually do ACT. ACT made me think very differently about high school, because I learned after I had to go through it that there were things that I had been insistent on teaching that they don't do it there. So, not that I say teach to a test, it just gave me a little bit of freedom to not be quite so stressed about science, because they were not tested on the science that I taught them. Even though I stuck to what the public school was doing, they were tested on reading the information and the charts and spitting them back out. That's training to read material. So it kind of gave me a different view of the ACT. So I definitely believe that you need ACT prep if you're doing ACT. Maybe the last 2 years of school, basically get that so that they have, they're not going in blind and they're not confused. Because, most homeschoolers, especially ones who have homeschooled long term, have not seen that many standardized testing. So it's a little bit harder to do. I do two electives per year. Um, that is just for us. It's usually piano, and it goes all year long. Or it's like language. We've done foreign language, and that's gone all year long. You could do two electives per semester and do two different ones, but you're going to give them half a credit instead of a whole credit, unless they're doing a lot of work. But we'll talk about credits in a minute. Actually, this is a good time to talk about credits. Let's get rid of the electives, because electives are so much fun. Let me go back to the banners. See, this is one of those things. It's like you could start talking and we could talk for hours, because it is such a deep conversation. And we can do this a couple of more weeks if y'all need it. If there's like a one certain section that you feel like I need to go more in detail, just let me know and we can. I mean, Tuesday nights is all about training and answering questions that you may not have anybody to ask. So, here I am, the homeschool mom. I've had 17 years, 18 years, almost 18 years in January, and 5 kids. So I've been in all the levels, and I have one who's 6 that she's got to go through the levels again. It's going to be so much fun. I'm learning so many new things because there's so many different. The basic is the same with homeschooling, but there's so many different curriculums. So it's like I'm learning new things. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about. I mean, it's really. It can be really scary, but it doesn't have to. I'm telling you, it has been some of the best times. One thing that I found that I become more of a facilitator. It's more like I'm a coach, because a lot of their school now is online instead of me teaching. Like I've gotten other instructors, whether throughout school, Mia Prep, Susan's class, and different people teaching. And so it's more like I'm a facilitator instead of being the actual teacher. And that weird feeling. But at the same time, I have enjoyed being able to take like a step back and enjoy their yes, ACT prep can be an elective. Yes,
I
ma'am.
was jumping off of the couch to the
You were jumping.
and my
Do you need more lavender?
nose hit the
I'm sorry. Do you need more lavender? If you'll get the lavender, I'll help you get it. I'm still a mom. Yes, ACT prep can be an elective. It's right over there, that box. Don't show your underwear, please. You're on the camera. 6-year-olds are fun. They're really, really fun. But ACT prep can be an elective. It is a hefty elective. She is a sweet girl. She is. She's a right there on the look at that gray box right there. Joji, will you get the lavender for her? Get her some on her knee. She'll get on her knee. Joji will help her. But so um, I have to help. Okay, this was one of my Christmas gifts. It is a diffuser for the car. Let's see. She does not like the way lavender smells. Y'all, it's a doTERRA. Okay, it's a doTERRA um, diffuser with Young Living oils. Okay, it'll be better. I need to get a rolly ball in there, and then you can do it yourself.
a woolly what?
Yeah, I have rolly balls, and then she can do it herself. Makes it easy. Okay, so high school. We're talking all about high school. So ACT prep can be, they actually have people who have classes that you can do that, and you can, or I have one girl who has worked on it herself. Juliana did that herself. She did a lot of stuff on in our area. We have the Mobile Public Library. Our e-resources had ACT prep. It was pretty good. I think she would now, if she could go back, she would have rather had a teacher, but they're usually kind of pricey. So if you can find something, look around, but also know that the ACT organization has ACT prep that you can, when you buy the testing date, you can actually add that in there, and it was cheaper than what some of the personal private instructors were. But ACT prep, that's one. But let's talk about counting credits. Like with the ACT prep, if you decided to do it yourself, what I use is called a Carnegie credit, and it's basically 1 credit hour for 140 to 180 hours. That's basically they're doing an hour a day of school. So like if you have a 5-day week at home, they're doing 5 hours of work. So, and then for ACT prep, you would list what they use. Go shut that door. I'm live. Go. We're at my mother's, and we are all pretty much keep all our stuff in one room. Okay, so this is called Thanksgiving week. But anyway, so you would keep like even just a sheet of paper. It's called a Carnegie hour. Put at the top ACT prep. Keep a track of what books you're using so that you know later in case anybody ever asked. I have not had anybody ask, but you never know. And then you're putting just to, like do tallies, like for each one is an hour, and keep track of that time. Now you can give them and let them do it, or you can do it. And then if you want to grade, you can use the ACT. Our Mobile library has ACT online test. That can be the grade for it. That's just kind of up to you. That's kind of what we did with Juliana. I was able to add that as ACT prep. That's how you would do any elective. My son did audio visual tech at the church. He would spend an hour every Sunday morning. I did not can't take that over 1 year. He did that for several years, and when he hit 140, that was a credit hour. So he actually had enough time between Sunday and Wednesday to do like 1.5 credits for audiovisual technology. Piano, they practiced almost an hour a day. Y'all do about an hour a day? Yeah, she shook her head. Yeah.
I was doing like 2 to 3.
Juliana was doing 2 to 3 hours of music practice until she started college, she said. But that's how they do. I mean, they're homeschoolers. They love music, so they like to do that. If you're having to pull teeth and you're fighting your child over that, then you may want to look for a different credit. And that's one of the freedoms of being a homeschooler. You don't have to be stuck in that guideline. I like using the guideline. So basically, yeah, anything. Now you need to keep track. That's what I did because again, I don't know what state you're in because I can't tell who you are. In Alabama, we do not have a burden of having to have certain things, but I keep track of what I use and I keep track of the amount of hours. I want them to put in the work. I don't want it to be a lazy credit. Like my Gabriella is very into horticulture. She grows mushrooms. If she's studying and actively moving toward that, then I can count that and keep track. But I'm keeping track in case someone asks me later. I mean, we can build a syllabus. You can put the material you used, you can put what was covered, and you kind of keep a track of how many hours they use so that you have a syllabus to back up that class. You don't have to make your own if you don't want to. Okay. In Alabama, yes, definitely in Alabama, there's a lot of freedom, and we see each other almost every week. I can show you some stuff that you can do, but you can build just about anything and not just in Alabama, but any state. If you keep track of what you're using as the material, and you keep kind of like a weekly summary of what they're covering every week, you're building a syllabus. You just have to make it look like what they're used to, because that's the thing. A lot of times it's not that what you've done is wrong. Like if you have trouble, like if you're re-enrolling in a public school or going to college and you have problems, it's not usually because you did bad work. It's usually because you have not presented the information the way they're used to. And that's why I say when I make my transcript, I use Alabama's um, public school requirements as a guideline on how to name them, because I don't want it to look, I want it to look the same. Even if we're not covering exactly, I try to make sure I'm naming it something similar so that they are not confused and they're not going, what is that? Because that's all you're doing is you're making them confused. Is you have to just present the information the way they're used to. So I keep track of what I use. Like Gabriella, I will probably send. I've thought many times I'm going to send her to the junior master, not junior master, the master gardener program, which is for adults. It'll probably be around her senior year, and she can do half do one semester, half a year, and it'll be more than enough for 1 to 2 years, because I've done the program and I know how much work that is, and it's the kind of thing she likes. So instead of being stuck in, oh, it has to be biology, it has to be chemistry, I'm going to tailor it toward what she enjoys for her science. So um, we want them to have we want them to have joy. I was very structured with my first two, and when I look back, I wish I had not done that. I wish I had relaxed and been a little bit of calmer mama, and that we had had some joy in exploring interest and things we liked and things that made their eyes light up, because we want them, the ultimate goal is for them to be happy, healthy adults, and that's where we want to take them. So let me see what else I had on here. So SAT SAT is not as easy to schedule for homeschoolers unless you are connected with a group in your area that is scheduling it. You have to have teachers who have degrees and they have to be certified, and then it has to be set up and they have to stand over them. And it's a lot of hoop jumping that I can do personally. For those of y'all know me, I can do it, but I have to have a lot of mamas who have degrees that will go get certified. It's just so for me, for my high schoolers, I prefer the ACT when they go to college. It's just easier for me to set up and for them to go take. Assessments, like where they are, like assessments, like assess. You can get assessments that are not SAT or ACT, just to see where they are. Like if you're in eighth grade or ninth grade, I have links to that. We have homeschool benchmark testing. I have a coupon for that for 10% off. If you want something like that before you go into high school, I've got that. Let me know. I can give it to you. Susan, remember that she has a bunch of her transcripts, because we were going to talk about transcripts. We've already talked about transcripts. It's on the list, but I didn't pull it up. She has her, it's got a special. They're 50% off. That is a fabulous price if you're needing a transcript. If you have an eighth grader, ninth grader, and you can buy it now and start loading stuff now. It's just, I used it and took Juliana, well, Juliana made her own transcript. I stepped by her and watched her, but she only took about 20 minutes to load. As long as you have all the information in your hand, it was super quick. It took me about 30, and that was only because I'd never done it before. So that's a great deal. What else can we talk about with high school? I don't want to spend all night and just bore y'all to tears. But anyway, remember to relax. This should be some of the most fun times. Make sure don't be Devin. Was there all used to be a saying where you say don't be Devin, don't be Kevin, don't be Devin. Don't sit at home thinking you had to do everything on that on the public school homeschool require not homeschool high school requirements, graduation requirements, because in Alabama we don't have that burden. It's a good plan. It's not that there's anything wrong with that plan, but use it as your guide. Take it and take a step beyond that. Driving ed, let's see, in Mobile, in my area, no, you can't do multiple kids. it would be one per each one because she takes it, you send it to her, then she prints it out. So it's one per kid, but it's really the best I've seen. It's worth it, especially now that she's got it 50% off. She may have a better deal later on, but 50%, that's a good price. It's about $24. That's not bad at all. So not a bad price. Um, Let me think. My mind went blank. My mind went blank. Don't be Devin, is what I was saying. Don't be Devin. Don't stay at home and not explore the world. Enjoy your high schoolers because they don't stay little and they grow up and then they look at you from across the room with sad eyes like she wants you to get off the computer and hold her hand. She's only 18. She's still my baby. But she really is my baby. They all are. But enjoy it, explore, use those electives wisely to explore things they're interested in. um, the only time this would be different is if your state had requirements. I don't know of any. Homeschool Legal Defense would be where to go to check out your state laws. It should have it in there if they have something required. Alabama does not. Mississippi, I don't think they do either. I don't even think Florida does, but don't hold me to that because I haven't lived there. I'm good with Alabama. I feel very confident in anything I say about Alabama because I've been here 18 years and homeschooled. But anywhere else, yeah, driver's ed. Yes, driver's ed. I'm back there. Um, in Mobile, Gabriella just took driver's ed at Murphy during the summer. It can go on the transcript. You can teach your child driver's ed too. You don't have to go take it somewhere else. You can teach it yourself. And just when they pass that driver's license, they have the permit, they have when, I would give them, I would put one as one semester and one at the other semester. Really, and almost when you put them together between the test and everything else, it's tons to put a whole year credit. Gabriella got half a credit because she went to Murphy. It is pricier because it was not free. We are not in public school. It was like 180, but she did most of the class through Google Classroom, and then they went and drove for 1 week. She took her test and didn't even realize she was taking her test. They were really nice, and she can just go and log in and get her, like when she turns 16. She's not 16 yet. She's got 5 more months. So no, that will not work in Alabama. You can give them a certificate, but it's not going to be that golden ticket where they get to go take and not have to take the test because the public school system and the DMV have a agreement between each other that they do that. We don't have that, so they would have to go take the test. Um, but no, not as homeschoolers. We can't do that. I wish we could. It would be nice, but we don't have that. Gabriella went to Murphy and took it as summer school. She totally enjoyed it, loved it, and now she's passed the test and she can just go online and get the thing. My other two kids did not do that. I took them, actually, if you're in Mobile, go up 43 to Washington County and Chatham, Alabama. It's basically like they drove around the block and that was about it. And it took more of my time because we drove up an hour. But they had a great Mexican restaurant. We had time together. It was great. So I wish we could do it, but they can't do it. That's how it works in Alabama anyway. You can enroll in the summer school and they can get that golden ticket, but as homeschoolers, we can't do it at home. You can put it on their transcript, but they're not going to be able to just get get a license without taking the test. Did I explain that okay? Sometimes I wonder if I'm like, am I backwards? But I wish we had that power, but the only reason the public school does that is because they have an agreement and their instructors are trained by the DMV. So at least that's what they said to me. Because I mean, I didn't even know we had that option, or I probably would have sent all my kids there. Okay, because I'm like gripping my. Let me see. I'm gripping the handle like this. Okay, it is not my favorite thing to do. I am the better teacher in my household, but it's not my favorite thing. So let's see if I can get rid of that. There. Yeah. Okay. I was getting rid of all that banner. But overall, teaching my kids to drive was not hard. It's nerve-wracking, yes, because you're putting an untrained driver behind the wheel. Yes, it is totally a new thing. This is a new thing. The driver's ed, it's a new thing, and so it must have only happened the year before because no one had told me. And I mean, I've homeschooled 18 years in January. I never knew it was a thing until last year. And so we went and got Gabriella's license, her permit that day, went to the library and made a copy because they had to have a copy. Then we went to Murphy and signed her up all like this. And then I announced it in the groups. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm admitting my guilt. I did not tell anybody until I had her registered because they were only letting like 25 kids in. And I knew all the mamas were going to go like, because it was new. So, but now I have a whole 2 years before I have another driver, and I will probably send her too. Not sure she's going to be as good a driver as Gabriella. Don't tell her I said that. It may change. She's not always as observant as Gabriella is, so we'll have to see. You never know. So it is totally thing, but it's summer school. They don't do it during the year because they're doing the public school students. So it was about 180. It may have been a few dollars cheaper, but it was 180. If you are in the Mobile area, go in the South Alabama group or the Compass Point group and look in the file section, and you'll find my name in there somewhere. It will have the flyers. I do not know that it will have the flyers, and I think it has the instructor's email address. You could email him and see about getting put on the wait list. So when he has everything ready for next year, he'll send it to you. It was about a month long of Google Classroom classes and then about 1 week of driving, or 2 weeks, about 1.5 weeks, something like that. So it wasn't a huge amount of time. It was done in the first part of summer. She did about a month's worth of classes. And they even got their boating license with it too. It's like it covered several things. So she did the Google Classrooms and made an A, and then she went to the driving part, and it was only like 1 hour every morning, like different times a day. They wanted to see them drive at different times of the day. So it was like 1 hour every day for like almost 2 weeks. And then they took the test and she got the paper. And so when she has the paper, and she can go into the driver's bureau when she turns 16, and she doesn't have to test. Or she can go online. If she doesn't mind her picture, she can go online and just do it online. So it's either or. It's up to her whether she wants her picture or not. If she wants a new picture, and they have to pay for the license. It's like it's not free or anything. They don't include that in the DMV class. So that's how it worked. I thought it was well worth my time. She enjoyed it. And I didn't want to pass information on to other parents of something I had not done. So I did want to try that out. And I will probably do it again with Olivia. It went very well. If it's still around when Alicia learns how to drive, we'll do that too. It is Mobile County. Murphy is the only one I know. I don't know anything about Baldwin County. Murphy, they accept homeschoolers, private school, people from Baldwin County, other places, but it was Murphy High School in Mobile County. But the form is in the group. You can find it in South Alabama and in Compass Point if you're in Compass Point. So that's where we had it. Any other questions? So we can wrap this up. I don't want it to go so long, but it takes forever. We like that. Okay, remember we have our specials. I have digital Black Friday specials on my website. Up above the video, you'll find the website and the coupon code. Everything's 75% off. In the comments below, you will find Susan's Black Friday specials. I think both start tonight. She has some really great ones for high school. Her classes are great. Her record keeping, if you're in Compass Point, you've already got that. Don't buy that. If you're not in Compass Point, it's fabulous stuff. Really great deal. And then her transcript is very, very, I'm actually going to co-post in my Compass Point group that it's 50% off, $24. That is a fabulous price. Her transcripts are definitely worth it. They are beautiful. But other than that, that's all I got tonight. If you have any certain part of high school, homeschool and high school, let me know. We can do another night on high school. I know sometimes you'll like maybe like tomorrow something will go through your mind like, oh my gosh, why didn't I ask that question? Ask me. We'll add it on the next one. Tuesday nights are all about, what we need to talk about, how to do things, where to find things, how to teach your child to read. That's going to come up. That's actually a new product that I'm going to be having in the new year. If you want to be your hand held, like I wanted somebody to hold my hand when I taught my kids to read. That was my biggest accomplishment. I felt like that and graduating my kids. Those were surreal moments. But other than that, I hope you are having a fabulous time this Thanksgiving week. Remember that Thanksgiving is so much more than just a day. It is a lifestyle of being thankful and grateful for what we've got. And I'm grateful for you. I hope y'all have a great night. I will see y'all soon. Let me know what you want to cover on Tuesdays. Have a great week, guys.